Hello everybody, my name is Aaron and this is the first video on my new channel Timeless Cinema, where I'll be talking about movies, TV shows in forms of video essays, reviews, interviews, recaps and all that stuff. In this video I will interview the man behind the show How I Met Your Mother, Carter Bays. There are two creators of the show and I will be interviewing one of them, Carter Bays. How I Met Your Mother is one of my favorite shows of all time. I rewatched it like 5 times, so it's a big pleasure to interview this man. This interview was in November, and why I haven't uploaded it, because I think it's really laggy and it's pretty chaos from my point of view. But I feel like I still have to upload it anyway, because like it's still an accomplishment that I'm really happy with landing this interview. And I did promise some fans of the show that I will ask them their questions to Carter Bays. So I think like I have to upload this, but like I said, I have to warn you, it is pretty laggy, and at 2 points you will see me like going to my wallpaper, because I was really nervous and I didn't think that it was recording, so I just had to make sure it was recording. And when I do that, you will see it when I do that, but then the interview will like the picture will cut off and you will see my wallpaper. So yeah, I can't do anything about that now, but like I said, it's really laggy, pretty laggy, and there are some cut-offs from the video, but there's still a lot of questions that you may get answered. Unanswered question from the show, and some like fan theories. He responds to some fan theories, also like some questions from the community, like I said, my own questions about himself, all the questions you maybe would want to know about this man, I probably will ask him. So yeah, I don't think I have to yap anymore, and we can just get straight into the interview. So yeah, to the interview. First question is, how are you doing?
Very good, very good. How are you?
I'm doing well as well. Can you tell us about yourself?
Okay, my name is Carter Bays. I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, here in the United States. I went to Wesleyan University in Connecticut. While I was there, I met Craig Thomas, who would play an important role in my life and
Yeah.
become my best friend and my writing partner.
Yeah.
And the two of us, we worked on a show called The Late Show with David Letterman for many years. And then after that, that was in New York City. And then after that, we moved to Los Angeles and we created a show called How I Met Your Mother. And we did that for 9 years. And now I live in New York City. And I've since the show went off the air about 10 years ago, I've written a novel, and I've been parenting. I have 3 kids. My wife Denise is she's from, I met her in California, and she lives here in New York now also. And yeah, that's about it. I don't know what else to
Yeah.
say.
Because my new channel is about like movies and TV shows, so I just have like a question before we start talking about the show, and
Okay.
what is your favorite movie and TV show?
Favorite movie and TV show.
Yeah.
Like, okay, favorite movie. Boy, it's a challenging one. Gut reaction is It's a Wonderful Life, which is I watch every year around Christmas time, and I just think that kind of does everything that movies should and can do. I'm also a big fan of a movie called Major League, which is a movie about baseball players. Which is I'm from Cleveland originally, and it's about the baseball team in Cleveland. And so that's definitely one of my favorites. Favorite TV show. Growing up, Twin Peaks was my favorite thing that was ever on television. So I could maybe make the case Twin Peaks favorite TV show. Yeah, let's say Twin Peaks. Let's leave it at, yeah. Committing
And
to
do you prefer movies or TV shows?
that's a great question. I like TV, just that I feel like TV doesn't get its due as an art form. I think it has been getting its due. It's funny, when I first came into the business, it was always that TV was sort of like second tier to film, and you would sort of work really hard in television, and I had friends that would sell screenplays, and it was always exciting to break out of the TV ghetto and become like, an actual Hollywood. If you graduated to film, that made you you were much cooler.
Yeah.
And I think we've seen a change just in, because of streaming, or because of, I don't know, it's financial incentives. I don't know, but more and more writers have gone to television, and I think as a result, TV is neck and neck with film as far as
Yeah.
artistic merit, I guess.
Yeah. So now I have some questions about the show, of course.
Sure.
And the first question is: a lot of people don't like the ending, obviously, but do you like the ending?
Oh man, wow, you're just going right in it, right, just diving into that one. You know, honestly, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna comment one way or the other. I want to leave that to because I know that there are people that come down on both camps. Yeah, I do think like I really like there's the alternate ending that I worked on that I liked quite
Yeah.
a bit,
Yeah.
and it was my last day on the show. It was my last time working with Bob Saget, the dearly departed
Yeah.
Bob Saget, we love very much. So I've always been fond of that ending, but I don't want to say one way or the other because I know there are fans of both.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Of course. Do you still watch the show? Like today?
I haven't in a long time. It's funny. There have been times when I've like a couple times over the last 10 years I've just got on a kick of like, oh, let's just revisit this, and I'm always sort of bowled over by how good it is.
Yeah.
I always I like not to be I don't know. I'm always because I forget what's in it. I forget
Yeah.
and I'm bowled over by how good it is, but also a little sad because it's like, man, I was a good writer back then. and I it's
Yeah.
uh,
So we know the famous like legendary running gag, of course, and
hmm.
a lot of. But what is your favorite running gag in the show?
The slaps. I definitely
Yeah.
I feel an affinity to that. That was something that was based on a real thing that some friend and I did when we were in high school. We made a slap bet, and that's one of those, you're writing a TV show, and you really are like, especially back then when you'd have to write 24 episodes every season. So you just really had to come up with a lot of material. And so
Yeah.
anything even remotely made you laugh in your life, you'd be like, okay, that's got to go in the show
Yeah.
because it's funny, and I'm dying for something funny. And that was something that always made me laugh in my life. And we just like at one point in the second season, I don't know how it came about, but it was just like, oh, we should just put that on the show because it's really funny. And then I love the life of its own that it took on. I love it was a running gag that I think was worthy of being a
Yeah.
running gag.
Yeah.
It was a lot of people just it wasn't slapping a dead horse, so to speak. It was like actually like there was some I thought there's some elegance to it in the construction of it and the idea that it takes place over the course of the series, these five slaps one by one. My only complaint is that I wish we had left the fifth slap
Yeah.
unslapped.
Yeah.
I kind of wish that we had a whole I had a whole plan that I wanted to do that I thought would have been so cool, but we just ran out of time to do it. But it was going to be that in the final episode, Barney's like, "Okay, Marshall, just give me the last slap." And Marshall's like, "Actually, go to this website. Do you remember there's the
Yeah.
slapcountdown.com?"
Of course. Of course.
So it was going to be Marshall says, "Actually, Barney, go to slapcountdown.com." And he goes to slapcountdown.com and there's a new timer ticking, but it's ticking for 10 years.
Ooh. Yeah.
And I wanted to actually buy that website and have that timer
Yeah.
ticking down for 10 years. And so that like right about now, 10 years after the show went off the air, uh, what the best version of it would have been that we filmed something where Marshall and Barney 10 years later,
Yeah.
Barney or Marshall slaps Barney. But then I had this other idea that I thought would have been really crazy, which is Barney would be like, "All right, Marshall, it's the end of the slap down. It's the end of the countdown. Slap me." And Marshall's like, "No, Barney, not yet."
Yeah.
And he says, "Go check the countdown again. Check slapcountdown.com again." And this time it's counting down for 100 years. And
Yeah.
then I want to have an actual like, and this would involve like writing and shooting something that would exist long after we're gone, after the show has been forgotten. But
Yeah.
that would tick down for 100 years, and then in the year 2124, uh, it would finally show a little video of like Barney's great grandson getting slapped by
Yeah.
Marshall's great grandson or
Yeah.
something like that. But we never did any of it. I wish we had. That's the one regret I have about the show.
Yeah. Of course, the show is a comedy show, obviously, and
Mhm.
but this I think it's like there's still a lot of moments who like hit people emotionally, like Barney's no yeah Barney's dad and Marcel's dad. Was it
Mhm.
hard to combine the like comedy and drama emotionally in the way that you did?
I wouldn't say it's hard because it felt natural to do that. I mean, something that we really loved about the show was we wanted to make a show that could really give a that we could do anything with, and we could go to those dramatic places if we wanted to, or we could be silly if we wanted to.
Yeah,
And a lot of the way that we wrote the show, even the funny episodes, we would write them. They would often start from a place of drama or a place of focusing on something real that we would often sort of write the unfunny version of a script and then punch it up and figure out ways to make it funny. But it was always more important to us that we write something that felt emotionally true. Like I think writing something that was truthful was
yeah,
really the sort of our main goal, and then
yeah,
figuring out a way to make it funny,
yeah.
along the way.
This is like I was watching like Instagram reels a couple of days ago, and I saw that there were a lot of people comparing How Much Money to Friends.
Mm.
And I just wonder how big of a part of the show was actually inspired by Friends, and did you like constantly try to set the parts different shows apart so that people like wouldn't accuse you of copying it?
Yeah, for sure. In fact, early on, the show came out of Craig and I writing about our lives, and our lives up until that point had been, us just as young guys living in New York City. I was single, he was in a relationship, and we lived in apartments. We hung out. We had a bar that we would hang out at. Uh, you know, the problem with writing about our lives is that our lives just looked very much like Friends. I mean, it was just like that.
Yeah,
That was sort of our life. So yeah, we were conscious of it. I think honestly, I don't think the show would have existed if we hadn't had the element of the narrator telling the story to the kids,
yeah,
and I think that's the thing that set it apart and made it not Friends. And there were a lot of shows that were trying to be Friends that sort of came along over the years after Friends or while Friends was on the air, like trying to recapture that. And
yeah,
I flatter us that the ways that we made our show different from Friends were the reasons our show stuck around, and those ones didn't, I think. Yeah, but it was, it was hard to ignore, and Friends was certainly a really funny show, and we
yeah,
loved it. We were fans of Friends, and a couple of our writers worked on Friends, so it's an understandable comparison.
yeah. I just need to add to that. There's like an episode where you're in a coffee shop and you're like, they say like it's not as fun as.
Oh yeah,
Was that on purpose?
yeah, that was. In fact, I believe, unless I'm mistaken, that episode was written by Greg Malins, who was a writer on Friends, and
Okay,
that
okay,
was
okay.
his way of like, I guess, like doing a
Yeah.
little wink.
That brings me to what character did you like enjoy writing for the most?
I loved them all, and they all like had their own like wonderful like. Anytime we could write an episode about Robin being Canadian, or Barney's hijinks that he would get in trying to pick up girls. Marshall's just enthusiasm for everything. Lily, I always loved Lily being a kleptomaniac, and her whole like sense of justice, uh and Ted, of course, was like the heart of the show, and like
Yeah,
that felt like anytime I could like write about my own feelings about like dating or like whatever, like Ted, it was through Ted as a mouthpiece. The character that I liked writing the most was probably the captain. I really just enjoyed
mm,
anytime the captain showed up. It was just funny. I like characters that are just like have one thing that they do and that they love, and he's just like, I like boats, and boats is my thing, and everything I say is going to be somehow nautical and like related to boats. And
yeah.
I also just I love Kyle MacLachlan, and so that was yeah.
What episode is you? Do you have a favorite episode?
I have a few favorites. I
And I mean like both television wise and like most fun to make.
Yeah. Well, there's an episode 10 sessions that I always think of because that was very fun to make, and it was an exciting time on the show. It was the episode when Britney
Yeah,
Spears came on the show, and so
yeah,
that's kind of what it's remembered for. But what I remember for it is that I think we told a cute little love story in the course of that show. It was about Ted and Stella, and he's got 10 sessions in her at her laser tattoo removal clinic to in order to manage to like ask her out on a date. And then we had that wonderful the 3 minute date at the end of that episode.
Yeah.
That was we shot the whole thing in one shot, and that was just a really fun. Really, the whole crew came together, like the camera crew and sound and props and costumes. Like everybody came together and just worked at the top of their game to pull off that shot. And it was just I was just very proud of our whole of the whole gang making the show at that point.
Yeah, yeah. Also, do you, like on set, do you have any? I know it's a long time ago since you recorded it, but do you have like any funny moments you remember on the set that you want to share?
Funny moments on the set. I mean, there's plenty. Just in that we were constantly laughing. Like it was always there was always. I'm trying to think. The thing that, and I don't. There was a scene. There was an episode where Barney is trying to talk his way out of a speeding ticket. I think it was called As Fast as She Can, I think was the name of the episode. It was season 4, I think, maybe 3. And in that episode, there's a part where where Neil as Barney, Neil Patrick Harris as Barney, has the line, "You think I can't talk my way out of a ticket?" I can't remember why, but we had him. I think we doubled it in the show. It was like he said he's supposed to say it twice. "You think I can't talk my way out of a ticket?" Yeah. "You think I can't talk my way out of a ticket?" Yeah. And for some reason, like we were all just silly and on laughing gas that day, and we had him say it like 5 times in a row, and he just like every time he went up a little more, like, "You think I can't talk my way out of a ticket?" And it was just I don't know. We were just that's. It's hard to describe and have it be funny, like now that I'm telling the story, but it was just the way he did it was just fantastic and really was very funny. And that's all those guys. It was just fun, like when the way they would sort of make our sort of humdrum material shine. It was always lovely.
So that was the questions I have about the show, but now I also have like also about the show, of course, but like unanswered questions, and you can like choose if you want to answer, because some questions you may want to leave unanswered. I don't know. Sure. But I really have 2, and that's did Ted really ride the tricycle? First of all.
Yeah, I think he probably did. I think so. Yeah. I think he was being discreet and he was telling the story to his kids.
Yeah, of course.
I think he probably did.
And the other one you could probably guess. Was Marshall really mugged by a monkey?
Was Marshall really mugged by a monkey? Again, that one, I get asked this a lot, and my answer always changes. Right now, I'm going to say no. I feel like no, he was not. I feel like that's a story he would have made up.
Yeah.
You want to scare Lily, and so. Yeah.
Yeah, I also think he wasn't mugged by a monkey. I think it's like it sounds too made up, you know.
Yeah.
I also have 2 like fan theories I've read. I just want to know your thoughts on those, and if you think they're true. So there's like the most popular fan theory is like that Barney isn't that bad as Ted tells, but he like tried to make Barney seem bad so that his kids would like try.
Okay.
You know what I'm heading.
Yeah. Like was Ted exaggerating all the terrible things Barney did?
Exactly, just for his kids to like give him his blessing of being together with Robin.
Yeah, I mean that's it, and that's at the core of the nature of storytelling, and that's why we only have one perspective that we're seeing the show. So who knows what really happened? I think there's every bit as much of a chance that there's like 6 or 7 stories about Barney that are too awful, and that Ted might have been making Barney look a lot cooler than he actually was. So I don't know. It could be the other way around.
And here's also I found that I think makes sense, I guess. But let me know your thoughts. That is Barney being addicted to cocaine, like instead of Suits. Because there's like an episode where he's like, you know the Suits song, Girl Wears the Suits.
Yeah.
It's like there's like where he goes into the bathroom and he like tells Marshall, "Listen in a minute." He tries to suit on, but some people speculate that he was actually doing cocaine, and the feelings you get from the suits are like similar to the feelings you get from doing cocaine.
Wow.
And what are your thoughts on that?
Oh my gosh. Suit the whole time, the way that eating a sandwich represents smoking pot, like if throughout the whole series.
Yeah, you can also see like when he stops wearing suits, he's like really down, and it's symptoms of people like stop doing cocaine. That it's like similar. You know?
That was never a conscious thing for me, but I'm only one of the writers. Maybe some of the other writers saw that and had that in mind as they were writing it. So that's I think that I really like that theory, and I think that's entirely possible. And that's
Yeah,
something that again, like Ted wouldn't tell his kids probably. Oh, your
yeah,
Uncle Barney.
of course, of
Okay,
course.
yeah,
Yeah, he changed the pot thing to like sandwiches, so it would make
yeah,
sense to
exactly, yeah, yeah.
change the cocaine to suits instead. I also have like, if you have a few more minutes, I have questions from the community. I
Sure.
asked both the Discord community and both the Reddit community. I got 40 questions, but of course I can't do all of them, so we're gonna try to.
Wow.
Uh,
I should do another AMA on Reddit. I did
Yeah,
that a few years.
that's like
It was
this,
fun.
that's still pinned on the Reddit server. So I try to like
Yeah.
pick, what's it called, questions that you haven't answered there. The first is like, do you have any plans for the anniversary next year?
The anniversary. Oh,
The
the
20 years
20th
anniversary.
anniversary. Oh, geez. Breathe into a paper bag and try not to hyperventilate. I think honestly, like I'm not ready for that to be 20 years ago. That's crazy. Uh no plans as of right now.
No plans, no plans.
Yeah.
I also got this on Reddit. I'd like to know how much input the main cast has on the plot as the show progressed, if at all.
They certainly did. There were certainly things. The one that jumps to mind is that Barney was supposed to wear his ducky tie for an entire season for exactly 1 year, and after about 4 episodes, Neil Patrick Harris was like, "Guys, no more of this ducky tie," and we were like, "Okay, fine." So,
I also think I read somewhere that Neil was the guy who like wanted Barney and Robbie to end up together.
oh yeah, he was always slipping things in. Like he was very heavily flirting
Yeah,
with Kobe the whole time, and it definitely planted the seed. I think that's completely his doing. Yeah, a lot of little things that just a lot of it also was just seeing how the characters are, like sort of seeing how the actors were
yeah,
as people change the direction of where we would send the
yeah.
characters. Yeah.
I also have a question from Oscar S. And if you don't know that guy, he has like 200,000 subscribers on YouTube. He's like really big in the How Much Mother community.
Wow.
So a
Cool.
question from him is
What's his name?
Oscar S. His name is.
Oscar S.
What do you think caused How Much Your Mother to become such a success compared to How Much Your Father? The time of the release obviously matters, but any other thoughts?
How I Met Your Father wasn't really my show. I mean, I contributed a tiny bit in the very, very beginning, and then so I can't really speak to what
Yeah,
happened there, but I know it got 2 seasons, which is pretty good for a show, and
yeah,
I it's a different time. There just aren't hit shows the way there used to be. So and making a hit show it's hard.
yeah. Of course.
It's a lot can go wrong. So
How long did the casting for the mother take? You guys ended up on the perfect actress for the role.
I couldn't agree more. And I've just started watching The Penguin, the new series. I don't know if you guys get that in Sweden, but Kristen Milioti is in it, and she's fantastic. And that was the casting took a long time, but it's funny because there was a great moment where Craig went and saw a musical on Broadway called Once. It was a remake of the film that was turned into a musical, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, I saw the girl in that was incredible." And I said, "Yeah, that's great." And I, meanwhile, was a big fan of 30 Rock, and they had this one episode that was where there was a stand-up comedian that joins the writing staff, and the actress playing the stand-up comedian I thought was really funny. I was like, "Oh, this actress is good too." It was the same actress. Turns out both of those were Kristen
Yeah.
Milioti, and it was just this moment of like, "Oh, let's remember her." And then like not long afterwards, we were thinking about casting the mother, and it was like maybe we found her,
Yeah.
and I think we did.
I'll try to look for questions here. This kind of is what I used to do before, but another verse. What do you have like a least favorite episode? And
A
he
least
says
favorite.
better not be bedtime stories. He said.
It better not be bedtime. Thank you, justice for bedtime stories. I was so proud of that. That one got trashed by the press.
I
And
like
people,
the rap in that one.
yeah, I like. Yeah, it was. By the way, it was Lin Manuel Miranda, like 2 years before Hamilton. Like that was like good for us for doing that, and good for. I mean, it was
Yeah.
wonderful of him to come and do that. Yeah, I always loved that episode. And that was one of those in season 9. There were a few episodes in season 9 where it's like, all right, we've been doing this for 9 years. We've given you every kind of episode, so
Yeah.
we're gonna do the weird ones now,
Yeah.
and you're just But least favorite episode, um, I don't know if I have one. I don't know. There's episodes. I'll say the Burning Beekeeper is it's not my least favorite, but it is the one that I wish I could go back and redo because I think
Yeah.
it could be a lot.
Also, I have found in Reddit, did add a lot of time to the writing to make sure so many details matched up and put in the foreshadowing clues. And also, I must add to this, like the times, like when you do so many flash forwards and flashbacks, it's like, was it like hard to keep track of everything and make it logical, you know?
Yes, it was very hard, but it was also a fun challenge. I think there was a lot of there were a
Yeah.
lot of math brains on the staff. I always loved the challenge of like setting something up. I loved creating a problem and having to figure out a way to solve it. Like the goat was like a real learning experience for me as a writer, where we were like, what if we just say that there's going to be a crazy story involving a goat, and we're not going to say what it is,
Yeah.
and
Also, there was
and
also
now we have to.
some questions about what the goat story actually was.
Yeah, I mean that was, but that was that. I'm so proud of that whole the way that unfolded because it was really like we definitely that was us calling our shot. That was like I'm gonna just say that we're gonna come up with some silly ghost story. I don't know what it's gonna be, and then I think the way it wasn't like the craziest payoff, but just the fact that it's Ted fighting a goat and like that crazy scene of him getting choked by the two hooves. Like I just
Yeah.
it was silly and it I love that we called our shot 2 years earlier and then paid it off in that scene.
Yeah. So, question to wrap it all up, and I think that's something I wonder myself, and also some that I got here, and that is what can we expect of you now? What more do you have to offer? Like, also, like, are any more shows that you like are going to write on, or more books? Like, what's more to come?
I it's I'm a little bit in between things right now because there's a few projects that I've been developing that I do still hope to bring to fruition. Some of them have been stalled by various things. And but I do have a second book that I'm trying to get started on. There's a TV show that I've been developing that would be a sort of a 10 episode miniseries that's a true story that I'm really excited about. And I've got a few other comedy ideas that I've been developing, and I have a play that I wrote that I sort of have a lot of like kind of half finished things that I need to like
Yeah.
uh, land on one and try and get it out in the world.
So I'm not gonna waste any more of your time. Thank you so much for having this interview with me. It was an honor to talk to the guy behind the show I watch a lot.
Oh my gosh, it's my pleasure. I'm sorry that this was so short. If you have more, we could do this again sometime.
Yeah, we could try to plan something. So thank you for your time, and
yeah, thank you, everyone. Am I being recorded right now, or is
yes,
just
this is going
I am.
to be on
So
YouTube.
people are
Yeah.
going to watch this. People are
Yes,
going to see.
yes, yes.
Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you everybody for watching and for enjoying the show. It really it means a lot to me that people
Yeah.
still remember this silly, ridiculous show that we made, and I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye.